She can just block my shot. That's how it started, pure honesty in the middle of high-pressure chaos. For her, it wasn't about overthinking the defense or trying to outmaneuver someone who had the length and timing to send it back into the stands. It was simple, just make the shots. Stay aggressive. Trust the work. And when that last one left her fingertips, she admitted the only thing running through her mind was, please go in, because I was going home. That's the kind of pressure you can't fake. The crowd exploded, the tension snapped, and in that single second you could feel the emotional weight lift off her shoulders. That wasn't just a jumper, it was a statement, a sigh of relief, and a defining moment wrapped into one. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Basketball Fan. And if you're new to the channel, you picked a wild day to show up because what just happened in this rivalry was absolute chaos. Emotions were sky high. Every possession felt loaded. You could see it in the body language, hear it in the tone of the players, feel it in the crowd's reaction. The game had that extra edge, the kind where every bump feels intentional and every stare down lasts a little longer than usual. This wasn't just about running plays or executing sets. This was personal. You could sense the history between them bubbling over with every trip down the floor. But the on-court fireworks weren't even the only headline. Now you've got Adam Silver stepping into the conversation, and he didn't mince words. It sounded like a final warning shot aimed straight at both sides of the ongoing CBA battle. He made it clear that the WNBA and the Women's National Basketball Players Association can't afford to let these negotiations drag on forever. The tone shifted immediately. When the league's top executive speaks with that kind of urgency, it raises eyebrows. It changes the atmosphere. Suddenly, this rivalry isn't just about who wins on the court, it's tied to bigger conversations about the business, the future, and the power dynamics shaping the league. And trust me, when those conversations heat up behind the scenes, they eventually spill onto the hardwood. Now let's talk about the matchup that had everybody leaning forward in their seats. Chelsea Gray versus Kelsey Plum. This was nasty work. Straight up grimy. Hands everywhere, physical defense, no easy breathing room. Chelsea Gray brought that composed but ruthless energy, controlling pace, using her strength, picking her spots like a seasoned floor general. But Kelsey Plum? She came out locked and loaded. She was living in the corners, relocating off the ball, catching and firing without hesitation. It was like she had that Jenny from the block vibe, posted up in the corner, calm but lethal, knocking down shots like it was muscle memory. Every time the defense blinked, she punished them. That's what made this battle so compelling. It wasn't flashy for the sake of being flashy. It was tough. It was prideful. It was competitive fire meeting competitive fire. The kind of game where every made bucket feels like a message and every defensive stop feels like a warning. And by the end of it, nobody walked away untouched. That's rivalry basketball at its finest, and that's exactly why we break it all down here on Basketball Fan. Now, like I said before, these games were physical as hell. You could feel it in every possession. Look at how handsy it got, oh my goodness, just reckless at times. Players were bumping, pushing, fighting for every inch, and, honestly, it felt borderline chaotic. Every move was contested like it was the final play of a playoff series. Hands were everywhere, bodies colliding, and yet somehow, they kept the pace up. Chelsea Gray was in the middle of it all, using that old folk strength that only comes with experience and muscle memory. She was backing defenders down, controlling tempo, finishing through contact like it was light work, and hitting cold-blooded buckets that left the defense shook. That veteran presence was undeniable. She knew how to impose herself physically while still making it look effortless. Kelsey Plum wasn't backing down either, getting handsy in ways that had fans laughing and gasping at the same time, making this matchup a real spectacle. Every possession was a test of will, strength, and skill, and Chelsea Gray handled it beautifully. But then we flipped the page to the next matchup, and things got just as wild with Allisha going up against Aliyah Boston. Let me tell you, this was a battle, a straight-up dogfight. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't easy, but it was competitive from start to finish. Boston pulled off a wild comeback that shifted the entire vibe of the game. She was on another level defensively, playing John Cena-type defense where it was impossible to see anything open. She was cooking offensively too, running 0 to 9 streaks, spinning, twirling, and backing Allisha down like it was a strength contest. Every move she made was savage, borderline disrespectful, asking for fouls, throwing her weight around, and demanding respect on the floor. Allisha was giving everything she had, but Boston was relentless, throwing every ounce of energy, everything but the kitchen sink, into every play. The physicality was off the charts, the intensity unmatched, and every possession had fans on edge. It was the kind of matchup that reminds you why you tune in to watch elite-level competition, where skill, strength, and strategy collide in full force. All of this, breaking down every insane moment, every physical battle, and every clutch play, you already know we cover here on Basketball Fan, your go-to spot for raw, unfiltered breakdowns of the games that make you sit up, cheer, and maybe even throw something at the screen. Aliyah Boston was out here cooking like it was Thanksgiving, putting everything on the floor and leaving no room for mercy. She went for her final shot and missed, visibly tired, while Allisha Gray was equally exhausted, thinking, I can't fight her inside. Let's just pull it and bang that thing, no hesitation, just let it fly. And right at that moment, it felt like you could hear the final note echo through the building. You know that saying about when the fat lady sings? Yeah. That's exactly how it felt. That was game. Boston sealed it, sending Allisha packing, but respect is due, this was a battle from start to finish. Nothing about it was easy. Boston went straight at the guards, holding her ground like a boss, showing the strength and determination that make her a nightmare to guard. After the buzzer, the players spoke, and you could feel the raw emotion and professionalism. When asked how it felt to make the Final Four, Boston reflected on last year's early exit and the progress she's made, emphasizing the opportunity these tournament games provide for player development. Allisha Gray shared what it felt like to hit the game winner, laughing about being glad she's a guard and not a post, admitting the confidence boost after hitting her first shot and staying poised despite Boston's incredible comeback. She explained that with Boston's length, she just had to keep shooting threes, and when her final shot went up, she silently pleaded, please go in because I was going home. Boston leaned on her the entire game with that undeniable grown woman strength, overpowering Allisha at every turn. While Gray brings that sneaky strength, Boston's was obvious and overpowering, relentless on every possession, yet at the end of the day, it was all love. The Gamecock bond between them shined through, showing mutual respect after a hard-fought battle, no extra drama or messy nonsense. Then came the final game, Allisha Gray versus Chelsea Gray, the Battle of the Grays. Exhausting barely describes it. My tongue felt like it was dragging on the floor after watching them go at it. Allisha came out banging, putting her physicality on full display. This matchup was more physical than a guy walking through TSA with 1,000 zippers. Nasty, unrelenting, no chill. Allisha was on fire, torching the floor with every move. After playing 3 games, both having won 1, this final showdown had stakes through the roof. Chelsea Gray took her time, knocked down threes, spun through defenders, executed in-and-out moves, and handled the ball disrespectfully well. She was knocking down tough shots with that F-150 Ford-like strength, built like a truck on the floor, and the physicality escalated with no calls as the refs were clearly asleep. Step-back threes, half-spin knockdowns, relentless offensive aggression, Chelsea was cooking, and the intensity of the game had fans on the edge of their seats. Every possession screamed competition, every shot carried pride and pressure. Watching these Grays go at it was pure basketball spectacle, and that's exactly the kind of breakdown you get right here on Basketball Fan, where we dive into the action, the strength, the skill, and the drama, all unfiltered. All right, now this right here was the final game, and everything came down to it since the first 2 had been split. Both players were running on fumes, dead tired, bent over, hands on knees, trying to catch their breath like it was a marathon with no water in sight. If this were 2K, double Gatorade icons would have been flashing next to their names. Allisha Gray looked like she was shedding weight just to survive, fighting for every possession, debating whether to call a timeout just to breathe. But somebody had to finish it, and Chelsea Gray did just that. She pulled up, got her own rebound, and came back down the floor. Boom! Allisha was too gassed to get back, and Chelsea knocked it down, a cold-blooded, no-mercy finish. If there's one adjustment I'd make for next year's one-on-one format, it's simple: one shot per possession, then switch. Keep it clean, keep it competitive. None of the sloppy back-and-forth resets that drag possessions out like they owe somebody money. Quick, decisive, pressure-packed action is how every bucket should feel. Every miss should sting a little more. Regardless of format, Chelsea Gray closed the show with veteran poise, strength, and composure, leaning on that grown woman game to finish big. Killer instinct on full display when it mattered most. As for me, I came up short, but I can't complain, I gave it my all. Losing to a point guard like her is no shame. She's a great player, and if you have to lose, that's the kind of player you want to lose to. Shifting gears, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver weighed in on the ongoing CBA negotiations, and his tone made it clear he's not playing around. He called it unfortunate where things currently stand, emphasizing that both teams and players need to recognize the tremendous momentum the WNBA has gained in recent years in terms of fan interest, commercial success, and player popularity. Silver noted the looming deadlines, with training camps opening in roughly 2 months, 2 drafts to run, and free agency to manage. The pressure is real, and he made it clear that both sides need to step up and get a deal done. He's been involved behind the scenes, pushing for direct engagement and a sense of urgency, stressing that momentum can't be lost and the league's progress in women's basketball must continue. So y'all heard it, Adam Silver is turning up the heat. There's no more playing around. The season, opportunities, and revenue are on the line. Fans want hoops, players want to play, and the league needs that momentum now more than ever. Hopefully, an agreement comes soon so we can get a full season without excuses. I'm loving bringing y'all this coverage here on Basketball Fan, breaking down every insane game, every clutch shot, and all the off-court drama. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because the action isn't slowing down, and neither am I.